editing, and you have your dashboard. Hello everyone, thank you for joining today's class, and this is the lab O4 of the Azure DevOps Certification Expert. And in this class, we're going to talk about agile planning and portfolio management with Azure Boards. The first thing we need to do is to go to portal.azure.com. On your global site, you can search for Azure DevOps, and this page will pop up. You can view your organization, and this is your organization. So this is the organization. So you can create a new organization or just use the one that you have, but most likely you have a new one. So just create that new one. But before we proceed, we need to do some organization settings. So let me click on that and do the settings. So I want to go to billing just for me to make sure that I'm using the right subscription for this lab. So this is the other subscription that I'm going to be using for this lab, and I want to set this pay parallel to 1. This MS hosted. And what else do I need here? I think that's all for now. Also, let's check settings. Do I need to do anything here? All right. So this one was on before, but let me just leave it off. These two, disable creation of classic and disable creation of classic release pipeline. Let me leave that. So the next thing is to go and create the DevOps project I want to use. So let's go back to this. So let me call this project eShop on Web. eShop on Web. Then let me leave it on private. Advanced, let me change this key. This is fine. And this, let me change this to Scrum. Good. So I can create this project now. And this is the project. The next thing to do is to click on repos, and the repo we're going to be using is on GitHub, right? So let me quickly go and pick that repo from Microsoft Learning on GitHub. So all I just need to do is to search for eShop online. So I'll just quickly search for that eShop on web, and this is it. So this is a repo that we are going to be using in this class. So we can come back to import here and click here. So let's import. So the repo has been imported. So let's quickly go to the repo branch. Let me open this on a new tab. Good. So we're going to set this main branch as the default branch we're going to be using. This as default branch. Good. So the next thing is to quickly create teams, areas, and iterations. So let's go back to the project. This is the project that was created, eShop on web. So I'm going to just open this. So let's do some settings on this project. So let's do project setting. So on this general, let's go to change. We already have one team here already, but for the sake of this lab, we're going to create another one. So what do we call this? Let's call this team eShop Web. I'm going to leave other settings the way it is. So let me just create. So remember, this is a new team that was just created, eShop Web. So let's just check what we have here. Okay, we have this. So let me go to iterations on area path. So let's select iterations. Then let's create select iterations here. So let's just pick the sprint 1. But we can see that the dates are not yet set. So let's just quickly set the date. So let me put the date as for sprint one as first work day of last week. Let me see. And by default, it would be 3 weeks, right? I picked 7th, 1, 2, 3. So this is okay. Save and close. So if we select another iteration, which is sprint 2, the date is automated just because the last sprint end on 28. So if you check this, it will start from, you see, 29. Then to pick 3 weeks as well. So 29, 1. Let's pick it. Another iteration. Let's say sprint 3. So let me set the dates. If you look at the last one is 12th. So this one is starting from 13. And the end date 27, 1, 2, 3. Good. So let's just leave it the way it is. Save and close. So we have 3 sprints here. So let's just go to areas now. And you can see we have this default, but let me select area and let me pick this as shop one. Now let's go to area and select this. So let me pick this. So here I need to include sub areas. Good. Now we are done with the settings. So let's go back to manage work items. So let me just select the project name here. You can go to the boards work item. So under new work item, we can just pick a pick. Let's give this one a name. And the title, let me give it a title, product training. So let me just quickly assign this one to myself here. So let me go to the area part here. Let me say pick eShop web. Good. Also on the iteration, let me pick sprint 2 here. Then save. So under this related work item, let me add link, new item. So let me add this one as training dashboard. Title training dashboard. And that is a link, that's okay. So now we can save and close. So here let's go to boards and let's pick the shop boards. So this is a board. So let's go to the backlog item and select features, which will make it easy to add task and other work items. Good. So we have this. So let's quickly add product backlog, PBI. So let's add more backlog. Let's say recently viewed. Let's add one more. Let's say as a customer, I want to request new tutorials. So new tutorials. Good. So let's quickly check the backlog items. Yes, so let's move this first item to approved. Yeah, however, it is not assigned, so let me assign this to myself. You can see. Let me move the second item to committed, and this third item, once you request new customer, let me move this one to done. So let me view this as backlog. So it's going to be in tabular form now. Good. So from here, I want to quickly add new task. So let me say I want to add page for most recent tutorial. Yeah, so I can just add that one. Recent tutorial. So the remaining work here, let me say 5. Then the activity here, let me say is for development. I think this is okay for me, so let me just save and close this. Let me add another more task to that. So here, let me call this one optimize. Then let me say the remaining work here can be, let me say 3. Then activity, let me put this one under design. And this is okay, so I can save and close. And the next thing is to manage sprint and capacity. How do we do that? We go to onboard this big sprints here. Select sprints. So let's just view options here. Let me put it on more details. Choose on sprints. Okay, good. So this one is not assigned to anyone, so let me just assign it to myself here. And let me go to the capacity as well. See under capacity, you can pick activity to development, then capacity of this one. So here we can decide to set the days off that you're not going to be available for that work. But I really don't need to do that. So let's move on. So let's just save this. Good. So the next thing we need to do is to customize Kanban boards. So let's just go to boards. So let's just go to the settings here. Then we go to let's say tag colors. Let's add tag color. Let me call this one. Let me just say let me call this one data. And the color for data, let me decide to pick this. And which other one do I need to pick here? Let's just check. Let's see annotation. I need to select anything here. Tests. Let me leave all of this the way it is. So let me just save. So let's just select this. Let's try and add tag here. Let me see. We call this one data. And let me say UX. So let's see if I close this. So let's go back to the settings here on this board. We need to add column. So on this column, let me quickly add new column and let me call this column QA approved. Let me call this one 1. So there's something else that we need to do here. So just because we need this QA approved to be between committed and done, so all we just need to do is to move it. So you can see move. Let's move once. Let's move it again. Move right. So it's now between committed and done. So this is okay. So we can now quickly save this one. So let's try something. So let's just move this one from committed to QA approved. And let's move also this guy to QA approved. You can see what I'm seeing here. The WIP is 2/1. So this stage now exceed its WIP. That's why you're seeing 2/1 as a warning, right? Because that exceed the So let's return all of this back to recently view back to committed. Then so let's go back to the settings quickly. We'll do some tweaking on that queue approved. Right, so let's pick column. On this column, do let's do let's pick queue approved. Let's click on split column to doing and done. That's okay. So there is something we need to add here. That's definition of done. So this is the definition of done. When all passes, all tests, then we can save this. As you can see on the queue approved, we have two columns now. We splitted doing and done. Right. Let's go back to that setting to quickly check on swim lanes. So we're going to add swim lane here. Let me give this one expedite. Expedite. So let me give you this one color. The screen is okay. Let me save. So you can see how that does now look like. So we want to drag this one to these swim lanes where we just want it to be recognized as a priority when QA bandwidth could become available, right? So that's what we've done here. So let's even refresh the browser. Let's see what happened here. And the last part is to define dashboard. So we're going to come here on overview and select dashboard. So let's just create new dashboard here. And we can call it, let's say, product training. Product training. So let's leave it at team dashboard. And the team is eShop Web. So let's create. So since it's saying the dashboard doesn't have widget, so let's just have the widget. So on widget we can add let's say sprints. Sprints. So under sprints we can sprint capacity is what I need here. Let me add it. So let me add sprint overview. Add. Okay. So you can see decide to review the configuration from here. Whatever you want to add to it, you can. I don't think I want to add anything here, so let me just leave it the way it is. So the next one we are adding, let me still search for sprints. So add sprints capacity. So let me set this one. This is okay. Okay. So let's go back to boards now. Just do some configuration. Boards. So let's select query on the board. So for this work item part, let's just make this one. Let's say so in this work item part, let's just have task. Task. Then on the state, let's leave it the way it is. The state, let's leave it the way it is. Then for let's add new clause. So for the name to us, let's call it area path. Area path. And let's say this value. This is good. So we can save this. So we can call the name with task. Then let me put it on shared queries. Okay. So let's select charts here. Let's create a new chart and let's call this one with task assignment. Assignment decode. Let me see. Assign to. Okay, good. So let's save chart. So let's go back to the dashboard. Overview, so you can see. So this is what we have. So let's quickly add charts to this dashboard. So let's quickly edit and add so charts. Short for worker right there. Good. To this dashboard. Then we can configure it to set it. So let's just quickly do that. Set it. So on the query, you can select the shared query with task here. Then assign to. Okay. So we can save this one. As you can see, all we just need to do is to click on done editing and you have your dashboard. Well, thank you for joining the class. I hope this helps someone. And stay tuned for the next lab on AZ400. Cheers.